The struggle goes on, and it's not only Ferguson. There are other communities around our country where we are dealing with relationships that are not what they should be they official communities that they are supposed to serve, or whether it's on a more personal level. There is an enduring legacy that Emmett Till has left with us that we have to still confront as a nation.
Well, should Holder instead be holding on? I'm not talking about him comparing the Michael Brown shooting to that in 1955 that sparked the civil rights fight. I'm talking about him being the head of the Justice Department, the very department which will be investigating Brown's death after this grand jury decision. Well, attorney Paul Millus thinks Holder could be complicating things, but attorney Janelle Weinstein disagrees. How is he complicating things?
He is running the Justice Department. He's the head law enforcement officer. When he speaks, people listen. People in his department listen. When he makes comments like this to people who are beholden to Holder for their jobs, it's not helpful. It's not helpful to the process. It's not helpful to what's happening on the ground in Missouri right now. Neil, he still runs the department, and let me tell you, I think he's going to.
And his successor would push the same thing.
Maybe not.
Well, Ms. Lynch is a different type of attorney, but here's really the point. If he were to pursue something, it would have to be based upon race. In other words, the shooting was motivated by some measure of racial animus. There is no evidence, not one iota of evidence, that in fact supports that. So with all due respect to a federal civil rights claim, it doesn't appear to lie in this instance. So he'll do what he has to do, but I doubt that he'd be able to prosecute that case in any meaningful way.
But the grand jury could be getting information that we don't, or evidence that we haven't seen. They might come to a different conclusion. But if they don't, let's play that if they don't, and the officer's exonerated, and the officer's put back on the force, because if he's not indicted, I think the law states that he has to be put back on the force. Then what happens?
Clearly, there's going to be a problem. I mean, I don't know whether or not it has to be a conviction before he's thrown off the force, or whether the indictment alone. But let's put it this way. Having represented police departments, police officers, he'll be a marked man. Putting him on the street,
That's right,
whether he does anything or not, is enormously dangerous. He'll be provoked into incidents. People will claim that he did things. It'll cost the department a fortune over time. He'll probably end up in a desk job or move on to another department.
Well,
and the comment's so outrageous. You can't equate the two. Not
Absolutely.
in a million years can you equate the two. And by doing so, you degrade what happened in
Absolutely.
1955.
That's right.
It's not right, and it's not fair to the officer or to the process.
All right. We should know shortly. I know it seems like we've been waiting for sort of a high-stakes Godot here, but that's what's waiting to come down in Ferguson.